So in today's video, we'll break down how Nick Daicos, arguably one of the AFL's best athletes, preps for game day in his main weekly training session. We'll look at what he does physically, what stands out about his warm-up, and what we can learn from it, whether you're a footballer or you're just wanting to move better. All right, so here you can see that they're arriving quite early. This would be their main bulk session of the week heading into their weekend game. So they've obviously got to get there nice and early. Here you can see quite early he's getting some treatment on his foot and it will probably work up his lower limb. He had a lot of complaints about suffering with plantar fasciitis in his preseason, and it actually did disrupt a portion of his preseason too. So this manual therapy would just give him a good peace of mind, and not only that, help with loosening up that tissue and just making sure it's not as tight, and so he's a little bit more prepared for his actual session and main workload. All right, so after their team meeting here, you can see they've got their main training session at 9:15 in the morning, and they'll just do their standard warm-up here, kind of get in the groove and the feel for the session, like any club do, whether they're professional or local footy players. So here you can see some pogos, so nice little elementary level plyometric, just to get that lower limb complex nice and prepared for the training session ahead, and get a little bit of elasticity into there too, and warm up those Achilles tendons because they're so important for footy. Here you can see they're performing some curved running into some hurdles. So curved running is severely underrated for sports, especially sports like basketball, football, soccer. A lot of the movements you perform, and when you sprint, a lot of the sprinting you perform isn't in a straight line, it's actually curved. So why not practice that in training and get good at it? On top of that, they're finishing off with a few hurdles. That's mostly just to get them thinking and getting a little bit of footwork and timing in as well. It's not actually that important, I don't think. And here you can see they're all getting into some more max effort sprints. So it looks like they're doing accels, decels, probably up to like 90-95% of their max sprint. So these guys have got to sprint regularly. The body hates when you don't sprint regularly. So they'd probably be hoping to sprint at least full speed or 95% of their max a few times a week, and probably once or twice a week, obviously on separate days. If you do play sports that involve sprinting, it's absolutely crucial to make sure you continue sprinting on a weekly basis at least. The body absolutely hates not keeping up regularly with sprinting. On top of that, it just keeps your max speed up super high, which then helps you run at moderate speeds and, you know, mid to fast speeds better. It's that ceiling. Your max sprint is a ceiling, and the higher that is, or as high as you can keep it, the more efforts you can do below that, that won't actually be as hard as usual. As to in comparison to if you never sprinted, that sprinting would be super hard to get to, and so taxing and draining on the body. So now they're just getting a little bit of skill training in, which is the most important part of the sport, obviously. The skills. If you're not good with the skills, you're probably not going to be good yourself. As you can see here, he's hitting really high speeds just in gameplay as well. So for him, trying to make an effort to get that sprinting in outside of gameplay isn't really that important because of how fast he's traveling during gameplay. So here you can see they're going straight into lunch post field / technical session, which probably means that they do have to have training afterwards again. So they're trying to refuel and keep the body basically as fueled as possible to continue to perform and execute well. And so after lunch, you can see they're rolling into the gym at 12:30. And to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised by it, but I'm also not. And the reason why is that tendons play a crucial role in footy. You do so much running and you rely so heavily on that Achilles tendon. I know that Keith Barr, great leading scientist in the field of tendons, has some pretty good research suggesting 6 hours between sessions is optimal for tendon collagen synthesis. So like I said, knowing how important Achilles tendons are raises eyebrows a little bit in terms of, are they allowing enough recovery? But then again, they're pro athletes and they've done a lot of work to be prepared to just do this kind of stuff too. But obviously you got to consider logistics. So it would be quite illogical to send all the boys home and then bring them back 6 hours after to do gym work. While they're there, they've just done their main field session. Their CNS is nice and fired up. They've just had lunch. The camaraderie's up. There's a gym there. Why not just head straight to the gym and get that work done so they can have the rest of the day off? You could argue that allowing that 6 hours, according to Keith Barr's protocol, is ideal for recovery. Like, that could be better for them. But you could also very well argue that them getting all their work done in the morning and cramming it in, and then going home and doing whatever they want for the rest of the day, enjoying themselves, relaxing, is probably better for recovery. So you can see he's chucking a barbell on the back and he's performing this triple step, triple extension type movement. I honestly don't know what it's called. I don't even know if it has a name. It's like some Franz Bosch triple extension type pattern. I see it a lot in pro sports. I've never done it before, but all they're working on is those quick couple of steps and finishing in that triple extension nice and high, utilizing that glute, ankle, knee. So here you can see he's performing some run specific ankle iso pushes, which were made famous by Alex Natera, an Australian strength and conditioning coach who actually originally was working at GWS. He might have been their first or second main strength and conditioning coach or head of high performance there. Really good exercise for just getting that ankle area, Achilles tendon as well, like we were speaking about how important it is for running in AFL. Just getting that area nice and strong and prepared to accept the demands that will be placed on it, simply just by playing footy, by running so much, and also jumping, single leg jumps too. Here we got some bicep curls because it's singlet season all round for AFL players. Here we've got some band loaded counter movement jumps. So obviously those bands are creating a little bit more resistance as they're coming down. They let go and explode out. So a little bit of like an eccentric overload in that eccentric portion, the lowering portion of the lift, and then exploding out with no external load. Here we've got some lat pull downs and some more biceps and cable rows, just a little bit of GPP, general physical preparedness for the upper body, keeping it nice and durable. So in a nutshell, the session's pretty basic on the legs and not too much load. They're working on triple extension here and with the ankle iso push isometric too. So it's not that demanding and taxing on the muscles. Of course, they've got the band loaded jumps as well, and then they've just got some general physical preparedness to keep the upper body really durable. So it's a pretty simple session. They're not trying to go too crazy on the legs heading into a game day in 2 or 3 days. And just to add a little note as well, I think shoulder health is extremely underrated for above head athletes. So you're talking about basketball, footy, volleyball, stuff like that. You have to have really strong, happy, healthy, durable shoulders too, because you're always placing your hands outward from the body, either up to take a mark or out in front of you to try to tackle someone, and they're getting hit pretty hard, so you need them to be quite strong and durable. So this stuff works really well for that. And yeah, so this is the way that he's prepared for this game, and I think personally it's a really good preparation. I've just checked his stats for the game. He had 38 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles, so obviously absolutely killed it and was probably feeling pretty good and pretty fresh heading into the game, which is obviously crucial. People train too hard in the gym. In terms of sports, you want to be as best prepared for your sport as possible. So sometimes people are always in the gym thinking, how can I get that, you know, that extra 1% better than my opposition player, like that next little step better, that 1 centimeter better, when in reality, you don't want to be sore or tired for your game. You're a pro athlete, so you're not going to be feeling 100% fresh. But in saying that, in season, you'd be way better prepared for the game if you just made sure that you're as fresh as possible instead of just trying to get that little bit of extra gains here and there, especially heading into finals. You can't afford to do that heading into finals. Maybe at the start of the season, the middle of the season, but not towards the tail end.